Since 1909, 40 people have been directly attacked by white sharks in the Mediterranean. That's one every 2 years. 18 of those attacks have proved fatal, the victims being totally eaten, their bodies never found. Yet many shark scientists have claimed that the whites are only occasional visitors to the Med. If they live here, where do they live? And what do they live on? At the crack of dawn, Ian and Mark Marks head for the local fish market. It's almost impossible to find information on any sharks, let alone great whites. Getting facts means getting up early and working fast. Each of these specimens provides valuable data about the variety, size, and population of sharks in the Med, and it needs to be recorded before it goes under the knife. Ian and Mark are in a race against time with the local fishmongers.
The sharp-nosed seven-gill shark, fairly common in the waters around here, between here and Tunisia, in deeper water. These again are deep water sharks. And with these Centrophorus, the gulper sharks, we've got male, female, and another female.
At the back of a fish wholesaler's freezer, we find a 6-foot thresher shark. Another hour, and this valuable evidence could have been fish burgers, but the evidence is important to an understanding of shark ecology in these waters. Only the heads are left to identify this mix of smoothhound and nursehound sharks. Ian Ferguson has now built up a shark profile for the Mediterranean. In all, there are 45 species of shark living here alongside the great white. And yet, it's hard to believe that the Med could support this rare creature, since experts have believed that there's no staple food source here to sustain it. But what is a typical great white's diet? A favorite habitat is off Dyer Island in South Africa. White sharks find easy pickings in these waters. Since white sharks congregate here to feed, so do their scientific observers. These sharks feed on seals, so it's led to the classic observer-biased assumption that seals or sea lions are an essential part of the white shark's staple diet. So, if there are no seals, can there be white sharks? At 2 metric tons in weight, the great white is viewed as a clumsy predator that relies upon ambushing seals in areas like this, where the population is dense. This little cove in the central Mediterranean was once home to monk seals, but since none have been seen here for over 10 years, the white shark should be a thing of the past. Ian Ferguson disagrees.
Now, there's no evidence to suggest that monk seals have ever been preyed upon by white sharks in this region. And yet, despite that, if we look at a popular book, a recent book, which is regarded by many as a definitive guide to the white shark, it says, and I quote, "White sharks have been found in the Mediterranean, but over centuries, the depletion of its marine mammals has eliminated the white shark's major food supply, and they are exceedingly rare."
So, what are they eating? Well, this marine mammal, the dolphin, which is indigenous to the Mediterranean. It's hard to accept that such agile, intelligent creatures could be a staple food for white sharks. But 80% of all white sharks examined in the Mediterranean had dolphins in their stomachs. The relationship between white sharks and dolphins is as ancient as this sea itself. This is the fossilized skeleton of a 3-million-year-old dolphin. Scars and cuts on its ribcage are dramatic evidence that it was once attacked and bitten by a great white shark.
We have here 3 types of tooth impact dynamics, no? In such a manner, no, the shark detached a fragment of bones from the ribs. Another types, no, is a rounded movement, a complex movement of the tooth. Another sample type is this, no, with a cutting impact, no, action, no, with a cutting action. On the base of bites, no, marks, distribution on the bones, no, it's possible to think that the dolphin was attacked by directly, no, by below, no, and rapidly on the right flank, no. The type of serration suggests that the white shark was the responsible of the attack, and possibly it was a big white shark, about 4 or 5 meters long.
Ferguson's data show that in modern times, white shark are still numerous. His records begin in the 1850s and list more than 200 captures and sightings. Up to the 1950s, most were seen in the northern Mediterranean, Italy, and Croatia's Adriatic coast. But today, the bias shifts to the central Mediterranean, southern Italy, Sicily, Malta, and the North African coast. A particularly rich area of white shark sightings surrounds the tiny island of Favignana, west of Sicily. Favignana is white shark country, and it's the next port of call for Ferguson and Marks. It's the first time any researchers have ever visited these fishermen to find out about white shark behavior in the Mediterranean. Yet these men have been landing white sharks for generations. Today is the day of the Matanza, a ritualized bloody slaughter of the schools of tuna which come through these waters each spring. Mafia blood killings take their name from the Matanza spectacle. In the center of the bay lies the trap, the tonara. Long lines of submerged nets ensnare the tuna as they migrate across the bay and funnel them into a narrow corridor. Once inside, there's no way out. The corridor ends in the death chamber, the Camera del Morte. It has 4 sides and a floor. 3 walls of nets have already been formed by the boats in the background. At this point in the Matanza, the fishermen occasionally find more than they'd bargained for. A great white shark trapped in the nets outside the death chamber, lured by the tuna which they too had been hunting. Between 1953 and 1988, they had snared no less than 16 great whites in this way. In 1980, they towed one of the sharks, which had been entangled in the nets, back to Favignana, and when they cut it open, they found, amongst several giant tuna, a dolphin.